Hello there and welcome back to the Aqua Open Source YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, welcome. It's great to have you here. My name is Anais Urlis. I'm the Open Source Developer Advocate here at Aqua. Now, in this video, we are going to look at the new commands for Trivy CLI to generate SBOMs. Now, SBOM stands for Software Bills of Material. It's basically a way to get an inventory list of everything that's within your file system or within your container image. Now, in this case, I'm going to show you how you can generate an SBOM for a specific container. Now, all of the resources that I'm using in this tutorial are linked below, so do check that out. It would mean a lot to us if you could give Trivy a star on GitHub. And if you like this video, if you like similar videos, if you like to see videos and interviews and similar from our contributors and much more on this channel, then please do subscribe. It would be amazing to see you subscribe. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Now let's get started. So just a quick recap. If you've used Trivy to generate SBOMs before, you might be familiar with this video that I did, which is an introduction to SBOMs, as well as how to use Trivy to generate SBOMs. If you're completely new to SBOMs, check this out. However, the command that I used in this video to generate an SBOM through Trivy is outdated. Before, we would do Trivy SBOM, and then we would specify, for example, the container image that we want to create an SBOM of. However, this is not the actual structure that Trivy follows for its CLI tool. Trivy follows for its CLI tool a very clear structure of Trivy. Then once we know what we want to scan or what we want to use, in this case an image, and then you specify what you want to do with the image. So for example, you want to then either specify the resource, or in this case, we want to generate an SBOM. And this we do that through format. And in this case, we can do either Cyclone DX, or we can say SPDX. Those are the two major SBOM formats that are out there. Or you can do a separate video explaining the difference between them, but Cyclone DX and SPDX are the two major formats. Now, once we say, for example, Cyclone DX, we can then specify the image that we want to scan, for example, Alpine 3.15, and this will just generate us with the output of the SBOM. Now, this is simple JSON that's just passed here. Now, I can pass it into a JSON file as well. So I could say --output, and then I can say result.json. So if you're using Cyclone DX, the output will be JSON, and we can store it in a JSON file. Now in this case, I won't see the output because it's put directly into a JSON file here. So this is the JSON file. Now, in this case, it would allow me to reshare the JSON file with other people and maybe upload it to various tools and similar, right? What I can also do is change it to, well, not put it into a result.json, but to make it more human readable, I could pipe the output into JLS, which is a very handy tool. So once I do that, I get basically this file of sorts, and I can filter through the different components of my SBOM. For example, I can see here my different dependency list within this container image. I can see a vulnerability list of that container image, and I can close everything up. So these are the different components of my SBOM, of my Cyclone DX SBOM, and I can filter through them. Now, the dependency part is the main part that you will find in every SBOM. Now, while there is, and this is just FYI information, while there is kind of a standard that projects follows for their SBOM, like this is also, we created the different components based on what we see in other SBOMs, but most SBOMs will not have a vulnerability list included. This is something specific to Trivy SBOMs. Now, in addition to that, to using Cyclone DX, you could also have the SPDX format. SPDX. And you will now see the difference between Cyclone DX and SPDX. SPDX is kind of like a table. It's different kind of list, different way of viewing, different packages and components, right? Now the output of this you could either put into a result.spdx file, which is its own file format. And then we can say cut result.spdx. And we see again our output. Or you can also use, instead of format SPDX, you could use SPDX-JSON. And then you could output it into result.spdx.json file as well. Now, these are the main ways on how you can scan for Cyclone DX as well as SPDX. Something else you can do is you can specify, instead of a container image, you could specify a file system. So instead of us scanning images and creating an SBOM for an image, we could also create an SBOM for a file system. Now I'm not going to do this in this video, but the format would be similar. You would say Trivy file system, then format SPDX, for instance, and then you would specify the path to the file system that you want to generate an SBOM of. Now, if this all sounds confusing, you can always read up on it in the documentation. You go to docs and you will see here, scrolling down SBOM, an overview of Trivy SBOMs. Here you can see it again, either using Trivy image or Trivy file system. And then you will basically be provided with the output of the SBOM. Or you could also go ahead and for Cyclone DX, for the SPDX, look at the details. Now, this attestation is a separate part, and we're going to look at it in a separate video. However, something else that's really cool, and this is also why we changed the CLI command, is once you have an SBOM file, or like a file with the SBOM, such as we have our result.json with our Cyclone DX SBOM, we can say Trivy, and then we want to scan the SBOM for vulnerabilities. So basically, here's how you have to imagine it. We have here our container image, right? Container image. And based on this container image, we are now generating an SBOM, right? And the SBOM is stored in our result.json file. It's Cyclone DX format, right? And it's stored in this file. Now, in some cases, if you're giving the SBOM, right, and the SBOM lists all of your different dependencies, that's usually the main thing it has, all of the different dependencies that are in the container image, you might want to scan all of these dependencies, for vulnerabilities, right? You want to perform a vulnerability scan on them. Vulnerability scan. And this is done with Trivy SBOM, because you're scanning an SBOM. You're not scanning a container image or creating something for a container image. You're scanning an SBOM. And that's why we changed also the commands. This is an important part. But ultimately, Trivy SBOM will then give you a list of vulnerabilities in the SBOM, or like in the dependencies within the SBOM. So we can say Trivy SBOM, and then we can say the results.json file that we had before. And in there's one vulnerability, one medium vulnerability that already has a fix available. Now again, you can read up on all of this here within the documentation. Make sure to check that out. Now, this was a really quick video. We hope it was useful. If it was, please hit the like button. And again, if you have any questions, the Slack channel is linked below, the open source Slack channel, so join us on Slack or comment below your questions and we would love to answer them here on YouTube as well. Now, you can find all of the resources linked below and on our GitHub repositories. Do check them out if you want to have further information. We would love to welcome and see you in some of our upcoming videos and live streams. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.